Sorry about that. So hopefully we'll be able to pull those deck lists up very shortly and take a look at those. But it looks like the streams are operational, so I'm optimistic that we will get things up and running very soon. So maybe I can get a confirmation from producers when we can take a look at deck lists. But
oh yeah,
okay, so who are we looking at first? So we're looking at Jarbo's deck first. So this is a Stone Scar Callus deck. Now, Rhino, are you here with me?
I am.
So tell me a bit about this.
Stone Scar Khalees deck is a deck that has Blood Red Khalees in it. That's the namesake of it. It's playing a lot of units that you would like to sacrifice and get value out of. So you get to play Combust as a removal spell, and it can attack from a lot of angles. In that you can go wide against weak decks that are weak to go wide, or you can make a giant Blood Red Khalees and hit your opponents with that. And then you have Smuggler's Stash to get it all back and do it again. It's not uncommon to see weapons in the range of like 30-30 in this deck, which is pretty cool.
And just one quick interaction thing that how things work. So can you explain how Smuggler's Stash works with Callus?
So first off, Blood Red Khalees is a card that it's a weapon that costs 3 that its size is dependent on when you play it, how many units you have in play, they all die. It kills all your units in play, and it gets +2/+2 for each unit that died that way. And then once the Khalees is taken care of and it goes into your void, it still keeps that size. It could be like a 10/10, say if you sacrifice 10 units. Then when you stash it back, it's still a 10/10, and you can make it even bigger, which is pretty cool.
So this deck is very interesting in kind of how it plays out. Now, one of the things you'll notice probably over the course of these games is that Jarbo is really not going to be doing very much exciting for the first 5 turns of the game. Maybe just ends up with a very quick 8/8 Callus or something along those lines. But most games that I've played against this deck, I find that the early to mid game ends up feeling really dirtily. But once they are able to turn the corner into doing some of their bigger plays, such as hitting the Callus, such as playing a Torrent of Spiders for 4 or 5. That's when things get very serious. So this is it's an interesting sort of synergy deck. It's a sacrifice synergy deck, and the top end of the things that it can do are incredibly powerful. And I hope that we'll be able to see something like the absurd 30/30 Calluses over the course of the game. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if we see at least one game where not a whole lot happens.
Yeah, and as much as it is a synergy deck, it also has 4 Champions of Chaos.
Yeah, because that card is just dumb.
Ooh.
So unfortunately, just as a little update, we did have Finkel, who was able to try and battle back from the delays, and what did fall though to Valor-J. So unfortunately, Finkel, who is a consistent performer on ladder, did not do as well as he was hoping for in his first tournament outing. Other people who are doing well that we are still following include Iliak, of course, who's was his Finkel's first round opponent. But with that, maybe we can move on to Mad Mike's deck.
Before we move on, I'm gonna say one more thing. You may have recognized this deck from one of the first ETS after the wipe. Stone Scar Khalees is what Jarbo brought, and that featured the second week. Okay, it featured Recogulators, which are no longer in the deck. It has been relegated back to draft chaff status, I suppose.
Yeah,
and they've moved on to bigger and better things.
So that definitely is going to be a hard deck to get the mix right, because you're a lot of these interchangeable sacrifice fodder cards. What the mix is that's correct is difficult to say. But with that, let's talk about Mad Mike's deck. Now, this deck, I think the name Mad Mike definitely does not disappoint. For some of the deck building decisions, such as no sideboard. But it's been relatively well for him so far. So why bring a sideboard when your main deck is good enough?
Maybe because you'd really want 4 Stewards of the Past in a matchup where your opponent's trying to sacrifice their units for value. That's just me. That's just me. But yeah, it's a bold statement, right? I don't need a sideboard. Who's got time for that crap? Mad Mike doesn't. Mad Mike's here to play mid-range and kick ass or something. Yeah.
Well,
Let's
so
go with that.
So I think that this is a deck that if Mad Mike is able to hit some of the most important cards and um, his opponent is able to remove them, this is going to be a terrible matchup for Jarbo.
Yeah.
Statuary Maiden is, just, the cat's pajamas in this matchup, as your opponent is just forced to, chump block through a lot of the early game in order to survive. They always end up sacrificing a bunch of their cards, and they also rely on their cards being in the void for something like Oblivion Spike to actually work.
Yeah.
So if Statuary Maiden is able to just stick on the battlefield, I think that Jarbo is going to have a rough time.
I just absolutely love that this is a Stone Scar matchup on both sides with decks that care about their void, and neither of them have access to Steward of the Past.
Yep.
Neither of them. It's incredible. But yeah, the two maidens will do a lot of work. You just got to find the two maidens. But in the meantime, I mean, they're both just grindy value decks. One's playing a bit cheaper units for that value, whereas Mad Mike's going a bit higher, just not jumping through hoops to make a huge Khalees, and instead just having Stone Scar Mauls, having Umbran Reapers. Furnace Mage, three of main deck, can't even take it out. He is committed to these three Furnace Mages through the entire tournament. They're just perfect. I love it.
I mean, I was saying earlier that I think that Furnace Mage is a really tempting card to figure out how to main deck, and this is one that if it's able to tag a Callus right after it's been played, it's going to be a very big swing in the matchup, because I think that that's going to be the game plan that Jarbo is going to have to ride in order to be victorious a lot of the time.
All right, it sounds like the match is about to get started. So yes, maybe not. I don't know. I'm working on it.
We are going to be setting out the challenge very shortly, so you guys will be seeing the match any moment now. Just let our you contestants know on the producer side that they can get started. I think that Rhino is just getting into things right now.
I got it.
And able to follow them.
Figured it
but
out.
With that,
it only took me 5 hours.
That you guys are all enjoying the day, all enjoying the games. It's been a blast on this end. A lot of work to get all this put together, but hopefully it's all worth it for you guys.
Yeah, we're flying through this thing. 17 rounds, no problem, right?
Yeah, man. So we are.
Oh, baby, Jarbo's on 4x3 aspect ratio. This should be fun. And aReNGee proceeds to go even more insane.
Yeah.
You thought insanity was a binary state. You were wrong.
Yeah.
There are degrees of insanity.
Just full tilt for aReNGee.
4x3 in 2016, ladies and gentlemen. Truly magical time. Oh, this should be great. I just want to see both players cast 3 Smuggler Stashes.
Oh yeah.
I just want draw 4s all day in this matchup.
If this game goes long, it's going to go real long, and there's going to be some dumb stuff happening.
This is my happy place, right? Polices and oh. Yeah,
but there's no Stewards of the Past. Like, I think that's the thing that's like missing to make it.
Well, Stewards would actually make the match less interesting. So I'm kind of glad they're not.
Sure. Okay.
They're just like, oh, you wanted to have fun and do interesting things. Too bad. And now, no, we're in the Wild West here, right? This is great. Although we might not ever actually.
Okay.
All right, so minor delays happening because why wouldn't there be?
Mm-hmm.
But we're working on it.
So that should be coming again shortly. As I said, lots of production stuff going on behind the scenes. We're doing our best here, guys. We're persevering. It's lots of work going on behind the scenes. Yeah, he's just chirping at us right now.
We'll dive deep on this matchup then.
Let's take a look at the sideboard then of
Mad Mike.
Yeah, Well, I was thinking Jarbo, given the fact that he has a
let's
sideboard, but
look
that
at
was
the
just me.
only sideboard. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
Let's talk about his decisions.
So, wow, looking at these look pretty crippling. Plague is great in this matchup, as his opponent is playing a lot of Grenadin drones. Rally, not
No,
quite where you want to
I
be.
think you're getting it backwards.
What's that?
Jarbo's opponent is not playing any Grenadin drones.
He isn't? Jarbo's opponent is... Oh, right. Oh, yeah, I'm getting
He's
confused.
against Maulers. It's okay. It's been not actually that long of a day. You're just me on.
Oh, we are going into it? Sweet.
Well, that was a productive chat.
Yeah. Just long enough for me to make an ass of
game.
myself. Great.
We've got a game. Brilliant.
So we now have a game. We have a hand for Mad Mike that is a little bit slow, but very powerful. Jarbo has a hand that is...
Jarbo is not putting any pressure on anytime soon.
Yep. Annihilate
Turn
is
3.
not great in this matchup, too.
Okay, well, that's a bit better for Jarbo. I was going to see, if your turn 3 is make a life drinker and a 2/2 flyer, you're not having a good time.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think that Jarbo's... At least he has the Callous, though. So it just means that he needs any sort of fodder for it, and things can kind of get out of hand. And Mad Mike is very slow out of the gates here.
Man.
But he's going to be able to hit with the champions fully powered very soon.
I just noticed Jarbo has no madness in his entire 90. It makes me sad, because
that's surprising.
Madnessing Umbran Reapers and then sacrificing them is what I call a good time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but yep, he's got the combust, so he's winning the Champion of Chaos War, even though Mad Mike has the bigger one. Jarbo has the one that is still alive, which is generally more important.
Just you're fueling up that smuggler stats going down the line, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we now so Mad Mike now has some hard decisions. He can attack down the
I'm getting a note from the producer that the names are actually currently switched, because at the last second we had to switch it. Okay, and now it is fixed.
Okay,
cool. Because nothing is going wrong this cast. Everything
nothing at all. So Mad Mike, interesting decision there of either developing power more or taking down that champion. Chooses to take down the champion. Jarbo had the option to play the Furnace Mage just naked and chooses not to, which is very interesting. I think that I would have played it there. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a tough spot. Like, developing power here is pretty important, but being able to kill the big dude before it gets out of range of your stuff is good. Yeah.
Well, I think that it's something that he expects his opponent to have a big 5-drop, so having the Annihilate ready to take that down as it comes down is pretty tempting. And now just has a torch ready for the Umbran Reaper, which will buy Mad Mike a little bit of life, but definitely Jarbo is the one on the aggressive with his medium beats. Right up?
Yeah, sorry. I lost Mad Mike's stream, so I'm waiting for an improvement. So I might just be able to only see this from Jarbo's perspective right now.
Okay, so then I'll just take a little bit of a... So Mad Mike's hand right now does have another Reaper with charge as a result of that Drake. So that's going to be a big hit right here.
Oh, man. I'm seeing that.
Yeah. I mean, hot and heavy.
Yeah, these weapons aren't lining up great against Umbran Reaper.
Well, and this is also the issue with the with Jarbo's deck too, is that if you're not able to kind of get the right mix of fodder and payoff, your deck doesn't do a ton. Usually, you see it the other way around, where you have all of this like fodder type material and nothing exciting as a payoff. But here we're seeing the opposite, but just as bad of a problem.
Yeah, like Jarbo's basically trying to Flame Blast is Flame Blast. Okay. Jarbo's like kind of jumping through hoops and contraptions to try and make these kind of situational cards good, and Mad Mike's like, I'm just gonna play good cards. And
Yeah, just Umber Reaper in
my
your
good
face.
stuff is going to beat your synergy here. And that was kind of that game right there, right? Just a lot of air.
Yes. So Mad Mike leads 1-0.
And Mad Mike has a pretty straightforward sideboard
yeah,
sequence
he
here.
came in with a sideboard plan ready to go
He's
for
like,
this exact matchup. So I
like, oh,
expect
my opponent's on Khalees. All right, Furnace Mage, done. Oblivion Spike, Furnace Mage, done. and Mad Mike explaining to Jarbo that he is ready because he doesn't have a sideboard. That's sending a real message.
Yeah. I'm ready for you already. Thank you very much. So now we have Jarbo going to be.
Yeah, Jarbo's got some decisions to make.
Yeah. So what do you like here in Jarbo's sideboard?
Boy, I don't know. Like, do you just try and abandon the weapons plan because Mike can like easily deal with them, or do you just you're a Khalees deck, you just keep in the Khalees? I think you try and go low, wide aggro, and like somehow try and make these rallies work, but I just don't. Not sure what you're cutting for them. I think trying to get into like a smuggler stash fight might be not the best idea in the world. Like his stashes are just going to be better than yours, but at the same point, it's so important.
Yeah.
It's a tough spot. Maybe the Oblivion spikes can go, or the Torna spiders are a little slow. I don't have enough experience with the deck to be like, yeah, this is the bad card. Cut these. Like, do you have time for Devours? Like, it's so synergistic. You can't just like somehow transform your deck into something super different.
Well, yeah, and I think that's. I think the question is like, how much can you be on a different plan, right?
Right.
Because that's something that we see a lot in different sideboards is that you can say it's like, okay, we have plan A in certain types of matchups, and we have plan B in different types of matchups, and we can use our sideboard to adjust for that. It seems like there's some elements of a secondary plan in Jarbo's sideboard in kind of becoming a little bit more of a just a queen type deck or like a go wide.
But there's no queens.
Deck, but there's no queens.
Yeah. It's
and
like the rallies hinted at like trying to have this aggressive angle, but you're not bringing in any more extra aggressive units other than Scrap Tank, which I wouldn't necessarily call aggressive, and you don't have queens to bring in. Like maybe those rallies should have just been queens. I don't know.
So Mad Mike's opening hand right now is a little bit lackluster. Has 2 smuggler stashes and nothing to get with either of them.
Yeah, Annihilate not at its best in this matchup. Surprised Mad Mike didn't sideboard it out. Wait, I'm not.
No, maybe he has a different evaluation of the matchup than you do. Thinks that it's his things are important.
I'll stop beating this joke to death when it's not funny.
Which is that's going to be a while from now, I think. But definitely, Mad Mike's hand is going to need a lot of help, even though Jarbo's hand isn't exactly setting the world on fire either.
Hey, Vera's Favor is still the best card in Eternal, but might use Kalo's Favor instead here. Ooh.
I have to say that I would disagree with this. Yeah, I'm would definitely prefer the Vara's Favor. As you said, still tremendously overpowered. Like, what percent better do you think it is than the next best favor?
Ooh, I mean that depends on the meta. There's been metas where Island's Favor is awesome, or Roland's Favor has been awesome, but yeah, Vera's Favor is just I don't know twice as good as the next favor or something.
Yeah,
it's like it's so good. It's so good. I mean, Talir's Favor has been seeing a lot of play lately. But it's not because Talir's favored that's good. It's just everything is supporting is.
Yeah, well, it's because Shimmer Pack is busted, not because Talir's favor is good. While Vera's Favor, on the other hand, is like just a spectacular card.
I love it.
Yeah, don't we all? It's
yeah, Mad Mike is just waiting to die right now. It kind of seems to be what's going on. Last game he had nothing but crazy high impact action. In this one, you draw 2 smugglers stash and think about what happened.
Yeah. So I definitely like hitting with the Callous here because it's something that maybe something can start picking off your individual creatures. Like for instance, right now they have the Instigator off the top would have really made that Callous play much worse. But
and Instigator goes to the slaughter.
Yep.
Mad Mike should play a power here. Yeah, okay, he realizes. He's just trying to his mind is thinking about how the hell do I get out of this mess?
Yeah.
The answer is draw Umber Reaper and hope they don't have remove. Silences. Ooh, and Jarbo. I mean, I guess you play spiders here, right? That's what the spell's for.
I mean, why not, right?
Yeah. The other debate is, do you torch this instigator or use the Khaleesi's removal? So this basically puts Mike on having to draw a unit here. He's dead. He's dead, right? You have an 8 damage Khaleesi and a torch in hand, and your opponent's
So
at 9.
So I actually disagree with the Callis, the instigator down, as opposed to using something like the torch. Actually, I'm trying to think here, because the only cards that matter are Umbran Reaper or Soulfire Drake, and you would expect those to be in their hand because they're 5-drops. The torch is definitely better against the
Also,
Umbran.
Mike is dead.
Yeah.
When you are annihilating spiders, you're having a rough day.
Yep. I guess also with the torch, you are planning to go face as well. I don't know. That's a hard one.
The streak of best of 3s continues. Game 3 again.
Indeed.
Unfortunately, back to the sideboard. Try to tweak his deck and tune it a bit more.
Yeah, see if he can figure out a way to have a new approach to this matchup. I would advise not drawing all of your Smuggler Snatches in your opening hand. That's just me, my personal strategy.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Game 3. Does Jarbo change anything? We know Mad Mike's not.
Jarbo's definitely taking a look at things. But the challenge is out.
Here we go. Let's get back to this. The Stone Scar and Stone Scar action. I love it.
But also that Vera's Favor, not doing the Vera's Favor in that earlier turn, actually made a big difference because it made the difference between a 6/6 and an 8/8. The Callus, which would have mattered a lot, have the draws panned out a little bit differently.
And Mad Mike's got a Smuggler Stash in his opening hand again, but this time you keep it because you have Champion of Chaos and Archiport Instigator.
Good cards, I hear.
It's a bit different. Jarbo needs power.
Mad Mike's hand is looking pretty solid as an opener. Now, I mean, there are some holes that I can see things going wrong here, but it's pretty close to kind of
this Champion of Chaos is going to be a nightmare for Jarbo to deal with.
Yeah. No question. Well, the Suffocate is actually an interesting one. Because the Mad Max is the correct play as well of playing the champion as a 4/4.
Yep, play it as a 4/4, keep it out of Torch and Suffocate range. But Jarbo realizing there's a chance the champion doesn't come out buffed and wants to save that Suffocate and just use the Annihilate instead. So good sequencing on both sides, and then Jarbo misses power, and you've got to be
hitting.
And now champion's going to have fun. Matt Mike thinking about using his Vera's Favor. I personally wouldn't. You're already got 5 power in hand. I would just try and use Favor as a spell, and I don't think hitting 6 power is really necessary.
Well, also killing 1/1s is a
exactly. You know it's going to be relevant in this match. Now you might not cast it any times.
Well, if you're not casting it, then it's because you're winning, right?
Yeah, something like. Flail Reno. All right, so you've got the fully buffed champion. You've got an Umbran Reaper. You've got a lot of pressure on this Jarbo. And Jarbo did find his 3rd power, decided to go wide instead of playing a tiny champion. And doesn't draw power. Torch or Khaleesi here. Neither are super appealing.
Khaleesi
at least kills the champion. So there's that. Like you just swing with all and then Khaleesi the champion, right? And then hopefully they don't have enough reach to kill you with Reaper. Of course, he doesn't know his opponent has Charge Chain Flail in hand. So
and the Smuggler Stash too to bring back the champion.
This is
I love the champion and
for Jarbo.
It is. I don't know if there's a way out of this. Definitely, power issues at the beginning has been a big story for his side.
Yeah, power issues combined with just not having a clean answer to this champion, right? Like if he had the correct answers with these cheap spells, he'd be fine. That is not the case here. Champion of Chaos is not an easy thing to answer for any deck. Jarbo's relearning that lesson again for, I'm sure, the 20 millionth time. And Jarbo decides to not go with the Khaleesi line.
Yeah.
Instead holds a Torch.
See, I'm just trying to consider here of like what is it that you can do to actually.
evaluating the units in play, but the issue is like to try and block weapons. But the issue is Mad Mike's premier weapon has overwhelm.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't even help with that factor. Oh boy.
Because
good.
I feel like it's just something that you can't win this game with Champion of Chaos on the battlefield. It's just not something that is possible to do, right?
Yeah.
So you have to find some way to remove it, and the only way to remove it is with it.
Like it turns out he took the line that didn't kill him. Like he didn't know there was a flail on the other end. But at the same time, I don't know if you took the line that gives you the most chances to win.
Yeah, this one's a hard one to kind of evaluate. Like, which of
you're in such a
possible.
tough spot. You just have to choose between a bunch of terrible decisions that you don't want to make. And Mad Mike deciding if he wants to just clean up this board or stash back a Reaper. I mean, stashing back a Reaper almost certainly locks up the win for you, but I think this line is totally good too. It keeps your champion out of Khalees range by removing that unit. So that's a pretty big deal. And yep, the lowly 3/3 champion of Chaos will be suffocated on that day.
Well, unfortunate things come to an end here for Jarbo, and
Jarbo's still alive for one turn.
Yeah, I suppose that's true, but it appears as if Mad Mike, our sideboardless,
doesn't need it.
Fiend, yeah, man. Apparently, just does all the work that you would ever want.
You can criticize him all you want. He just has to say scoreboard.
Yep, indeed. And we have the
honorable Subaru.
Yeah, honorable Subaru, the most honorable of the Subarus.
Very honorable.
Yeah, unfortunate power issues decided that game, but nonetheless, that is the result. So probably going to a quick break here and then going into the next round as soon as possible. So stay with us, guys. Thank you so much for being with us.